Welcome to wilsonliling.com. We run a series of podcasts in intercession, the prophetic, and leadership. And today's podcast is about the area of the prophetic. I'm going to continue to share a series on prophetic lifestyle. And this is the second lesson. It's called Desire for God. Now, desire means to yearn for, to long for, to crave for, to set one's heart upon. For a prophetic person, what does desire for God look like? Well, when I think about it, I think about King David. He's called a man after God's heart. In Acts 13, verse 22, it says, after removing Saul, he made David the king. He testified concerning him, I have found David, son of Jesse, a man after my own heart. He will do everything I want him to do. Friends, David was not a perfect man. He had many flaws, but yet his heart, his desire was set upon God. David was passionate for God. He was motivated to pursue God's purposes for his generation. In Acts 13, verse 36, it says, for when David had served God's purpose in his own generation, he fell asleep, he was buried with his fathers, and his body decayed. And so here we can see King David was one who served God's purposes for his generation. He was totally in his heart desirous of the Lord, pursuing hard after God to fulfill whatever God has placed in his hands. And as a prophetic person, we need to understand this because it helps us to keep our passion for Jesus strong, even as we are being utilized by the Lord as his vessel to speak into lives of people in the prophetic. Let's look at why is it important for us to keep that desire for God pure and strong in our lives. Let me share with you a couple of reasons. Firstly, when we make God our desire, we become the very means for God to access, to pour into our lives the passionate yearnings of the Lord. You see, it is unto the Lord who is at work in us both to will and to work for his good pleasure. Philippians 2 verse 13. We become an open book for the Lord to fill our lives with. And what is more important than to be filled with the very things of God? God gives us the will, the desire, and the ability to accomplish for his good agenda and pleasure. The key here is desire. If you want to be a person who lay hold of your prophetic destiny, we must become passion-filled. In other words, fired with passionate love of God within us and his purposes.